Welcome back for another day of evaluating algebraic expressions with variables. So yesterday we solved a few different expressions using variables where we are given the value of the variable, so we plug it into the problem and then solve. We are going to do that again today, and I'm also going to show you something new. So this problem looks a little bit different because it has this line right here. This line looks a lot like a fraction bar. And that's because it kind of is, because the fraction bar means divided by. So right here in algebra, you're often going to see this line used as divide. So I'm going to show you how to solve a problem like that when we are evaluating algebraic expressions. It's important that you remember that the steps are the same. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite the expression with the value of y that was given, which in this case is 11. So I'm going to take the expression I see right there, and I'm going to rewrite it the exact same way, but instead of putting y, I'm going to put 11. So there's our expression. Now we have 35 minus 11, and then this bar means divided by. Divided by 3. So we're going to just use now order of operations to solve this problem. So I come over here, and the first thing I do is I say, well, are there any parentheses? And there are. They're right on top of our divided by, our fraction bar. But since I have parentheses here first, I need to make sure I do those first. So the second step for me to do right now is to do 35 minus 11, which equals 24. So now that I've gotten that 24, that's the number that's going to stay on top of this divided by or fraction bar. So now I'm going to have a 24 right here. And then I haven't used that 3. So I'm putting that 3 right here. Oops, just 3, not 34. And we actually left that fraction bar there for you to see what that looks like. Okay, so this kind of looks like a fraction where 24 is the numerator and 3 is the denominator. And that's the same thing as division. So again, this line right here means divided by. 24 divided by 3. So if I'm following order of operations, I don't have any more parentheses. I didn't have any exponents or radicals. And now I've moved on to multiplication and division. And that's actually all I have left is this division problem. So over here, I'm going to type in 24 divided by 3. And 24 divided by 3 is 8. So my final answer is 8. So when we were given the expression 35 minus y divided by 3, and then given that the value of y is 11, we evaluated that and saw that 35 minus y divided by 3 when y equals 11 is 8. We're going to do one more example where we are using that fraction bar as a division symbol. So here's another example of that. In this problem, we see 4y divided by 2 plus 9. So since we are evaluating an algebraic expression, 4y equals 3, remember that that is our first step right here, rewriting the expression with the value that we were given. In this case, the value of y is 3. So I'm going to put a 3 where I have that y. We also need to remember that when we have a variable right next to a number, it means multiply. When we rewrite that, we put that second number in parentheses, y equals 3, so I'm putting a 3 here. And remember, a number right next to another number in parentheses means you're going to multiply those two numbers. Okay? The rest of the problem, I'm just putting the exact same way it was. Because all I'm doing is rewriting the problem, but with a 3 where the y was. And making sure I do this correct operation. This means multiply, so I put another thing that means multiply right here. Now I just follow order of operations. Remember, parentheses, when they represent multiplication, are not the same as our parentheses in PERMDAS, where we have an operation inside of them. We don't have an operation inside of these parentheses. These parentheses just mean multiply these two numbers. So we're actually going to go ahead and say no parentheses here, no exponents, and no radicals. So now we're on multiplication and division. And now I have multiplication and division because this bar means divided by. So now when we do multiplication and division and we're looking at just those, what we learned last week is that we go from left to right, the way we read from left to right, right? So I want you to think about reading a book. When we read books, we go from left to right, and we also go from top to bottom. So that means I am going to get this part of the expression done first before I divide by 2. Okay, so we can't do the fraction bar. We can't do the divided by here until we're left with just 2 numbers to divide by. So I'm going to do that 4 times 3 first. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is 4 times 3, which equals 12. And so now, instead of having 4 times 3 at the top of the fraction, the top of the division symbol, I'm going to have 12. And the rest of the problem gets rewritten, right? So I had a 2 at the bottom, I still do. We had a plus sign after that, I still have the plus sign. And then we have the 9 that we haven't used yet as well. So then I come back to my order of operations. I still have multiplication and division because this means divide. So now I need to do that step of the problem. 12 over 2 means 12 divided by 2. So I'm going to put 12 divided by 2, and that equals 6. So now I don't have this fraction or this division symbol anymore with 2 numbers. I just have 6. I bring down the rest of the problem that I haven't used yet, which is plus 9. I come back to my order of operations and I say I have no more multiplication, no more division. I'm left with just my addition and subtraction. So I forgot to underline, you guys. Oh no! This is what I did first here. And this is what I did second. And now I'm left on my third one. 6 plus 9. I multiplied on the top first, then I did division, and now I'm doing my fourth step, which is addition. 6 plus 9 equals 15. So again, I evaluated this expression for y equals 3. And now you are going to have 2 problems like this. This is like the first problem I did. And this one is like the second problem that I just did. So you can always come back to this video to see how did Miss Colsty do these if you get confused while you're working. Then you're going to have a couple of problems where you have a regular division symbol and you just put the 4 in and then follow order of operations. And the same thing, you just have to put the value of C, which is 6 in this problem, and then follow order of operations. Good luck.